So Google's announcement last week, I think, was blown out of proportion by a lot of analysts in our industry. While it's significant that Google's ads division is actually making statements about the future of identity, really it was limited to Google continuing to support the Privacy Sandbox effort and announcing they don't plan on using email address identifiers on their platform. Does not mean that they're banning them or going to war with them or any way restricting them, which they couldn't do if they wanted to. So I think that, a lot of folks in the industry have taken this as a statement about logged in users and email-based identifiers, which really it was not. It was simply a statement of Google's intent to support the Privacy Sandbox work, which, by the way, they should, and Magnite supports it as well. It's actually quite important work, and it's proceeding quite nicely. We're very happy with the progress that we've made in the past 6 to 8 weeks in the Privacy Sandbox. So in all, I think the announcement was not surprising, not particularly interesting, and certainly not cataclysmic.
So what was the confusion? Do you think what led to the confusion, in your opinion?
I think people took Google's statement that email addresses are not something they would invest in as a statement that they were going to oppose or even ban, if they could do such a thing, things like the UID2 initiative or the LiveRamp ATS initiative. But neither of those initiatives are impacted by Google's announcement in the least, and both will proceed with the same gravitas and urgency as they did on the day before the announcement.
So what kind of communications are you having with your publishing clients? What are their concerns, and what about their road ahead in this kind of changed landscape?
Well, I mean, I think our conversations have nothing to do with the Google announcement and aren't impacted by that. We still have the same challenges, which is our choices going forward are getting users to log in, leveraging publisher first-party data, or using the Privacy Sandbox tools. And I think there are going to be challenges in getting user logins past 15, 20%. So we need other mechanisms. And so most of our publishers are all in with us using publisher data to create audience segments on the sell side and to expose those segments in a measurable way to buyers. And that is the 100% focus of most publishers right now.
Tom, you've taken over as chairman of prebid.org, and a lot going on with Unified ID. Tell us what's going on, the value of an open ecosystem, and where that's going.
Well, I mean, I think as we go through this run up to the demise of the third-party cookie, we're looking for stable identification mechanisms. And there are several that have been proposed, but most of those are proprietary. They're owned by for-profit companies doing it, as part of their business. And that has impeded adoption in some cases because there's some distrust about and concern about data ownership and leakage. So what we think is needed is an open source identity solution that's owned by the community, that's not in the hands of any one company, that gives buyers and sellers comfort that the ID is not just going to go away or have a price increase of 8 billion% or anything like that. So we need something that's owned by the community. And so the decision was made between Prebid and Trade Desk to have the UID value operated by Prebid.org. That gives us the impartiality, the trust, and the transparency of being administered by an open source organization such as Prebid. And we believe that's going to accelerate adoption, especially amongst DSPs that may be leery of Trade Desk, but having Prebid kind of in the middle, protecting everyone's interests will, in our view, accelerate adoption.
And finally, Tom, some thoughts about the evolving role of the SSP, what you guys are doing, expectations from the marketplace, how the business is developing.
Well, I mean, I think the SSP business is stronger than ever because of this change in the structure of the internet. So the internet is moving to a seller-based system because buyer identifiers won't be able to be tethered to the page. So I think the identification, addressability, and measurement functions are going to become more sell-side centric because of this. And I think it's a good thing, as I've said many times. I mean, people don't use the internet because they want to fire up their browser and see how it works. They use the internet because they're looking for content, right? It's the publisher is the reason the user is online in the first place. So the publisher is the natural entity to control and protect users' experience on the internet.